Hello and welcome to this new video in which I want to show you some simple commands for handling files and folders in DOS. We are using our freshly started FreeDOS machine, and if you are wondering what FreeDOS is, where to get it or how to install it, please feel free to take a look around in my channel. There are videos covering all that type of stuff. If you are using a very old version of DOS, or if you even have an old computer running MS-DOS or PC-DOS, then starting from the version 3.3, probably all of the commands that I'm showing you today will also work on that. The only thing that won't work in MS-DOS at all is the feature for auto-completion by using the tab key, in which we are gonna look into later. Whenever you are using the command prompt of DOS, you will see which drive and which directory you are in, and currently we can see that we are on our Z drive and that we are in the root directory of our Z drive. So the backslash indicates that we are in the root directory. At the top of my screen, you can always see what kinds of keys I'm currently using, just in case I don't tell you anything understandably. So let's see what we got in the root directory of our Z drive. And we're going to do that by using the command dir, which is probably, as I guess, an acronym for directory listing. And it shows us all the stuff that we got in our Z drive. There's our directory FDOS, which contains the executable files and all the stuff that is related to our FreeDOS system. We got a directory called games, and we got 4 system files. Now, what I want you to be aware of is that DOS is a single user operating system, and that means that we have full privileges over our file system, and we could easily delete a file like, say, the kernel.sys right here, and DOS will not even warn us about that. But the problem with deleting the kernel.sys is that our system will not work after that. So please be aware that you can actually break something right here. Running DOS is always comparable to being in a root console in Linux or running a command prompt as administrator in Windows. So with that having said, I guess the best thing to do here is to create our own directory structure within our Z drive, just to make sure that if we work with all this file and folder commands, we will not destroy anything in the root directory of our Z drive or something in the FDOS directory, because that could eventually break the system. And we can create a directory by using the command mkdir and the name of the directory. And I'm going to call this new directory fun, because we're just playing around a little bit for fun. And let's see if this directory is created now. We are still in the root directory of our Z drive, and we're going to do another directory listing right here to see if the fun directory is created. And it is. As we can see, right underneath the FDOS directory, there's a new directory, and this is called fun. So if at some point of time all this gets too much for you, or the directory listing is just too large to read, you can use the dir command with the /w option. And what that will do is, it will not print an extra line for each element that is in your file system. It would rather just print all the elements into one single line that it obviously expands if the single line is not enough, as we can see right here. So the difference between using the command dir and using the command dir with the option w is just that we don't have an extra line for each element. Okay, so now I think it's time to clean the screen. We're gonna do this with the command cls, just for our screen not to be messed up anymore like this. Obviously, pressing enter always executes a command. I haven't mentioned that before, so I want to do that right now. And now let's change our current working directory to our fun directory, because we would like to work in our fun directory. And we're going to do that by using the command cd for change directory. It's the same as you might familiar with in Linux. Let's change our directory to fun. And now if I typed in fu, I can just use the tab key to autocomplete, which I'm going to show you right here. And now DOS suggests us to use the fun directory. So I haven't typed in the full name, I could just use the tab key. This is a function that also exists in Linux, but it did not exist in the old MS-DOS, not even in the MS-DOS 7.0, which was basically nothing more than a compatibility mode DOS with Windows. But now let's see what's our fun directory looking like. As you can see, the command prompt here changed. It shows us now that we are in the fun directory of our C drive. Let's take a look into it. Obviously it will be empty, there's nothing in it. There's only these two elements, and basically the dot element just means that there's a directory in the structure underneath the fun directory, which obviously is the root directory of our C drive, and the dot just represents the directory that we are in right now itself. So from that point on, I would like to create a whole directory structure within that and then to work with it. So I'm going to do that by creating two folders. I'm going to do that again with the command mkdir, but there's an alias for that, just to make typing go a little faster, and that's called md. So let's md folder 1. What this does is to create a folder, and we're going to call this folder folder 1. And now we also want to create a folder 2. And with the dir command, we're gonna look if those folders have been created. And as you can see, they are. We got our folder 1 and our folder 2 now appearing in our fun directory. So let's go to folder 1. Which should be empty, obviously, at the moment. And then we're going to create a folder into that, and we're going to call it subdir for subdirectory. Into it, as we can see, now in our folder 1, there's a subdirectory being created. Now, obviously, just creating folders and jumping around within them is something kind of boring, because we want to have some content in them. So let's create a file. And since we don't have any file to copy from, we're gonna use the command copy con. So we are basically saying copy content that we are gonna type in later to a new file, and we're gonna call this file file1.txt. And now it asks us for content that should be in the file. So this is the content that I want to have in the file. And I can also press enter and play around with it. I can now write a really big text, or I can even write a program within this, but that's not what I'm going to show you right now. By using the control key and the Z key at the same time, we tell our shell that we are now done typing in content for our file, and now that we press enter, we can see it quits, but it created a file, which we can see by using the dir command to do another directory listing of the folder 1. You can see right there that here's a file 1.txt, which we just created, and it has 23 bytes of content within it, which is the content that we just typed. So maybe we want to look into a file at some point of time, and we can do that by using the command type and the file name. Now I'm also going to use auto completion right here because I'm pretty lazy and I don't want to type a lot. And as you can see, now it prints the content of our newly created file. There's just this sentence. This is a file content which we typed in earlier. And now we maybe want to copy that file to another file. So now let's do that. Copy file 1, which is the name of our existing file. And then we want to copy that file to a file called file 2. So file 2 is our new file. And it now has copied the whole content, file 1 with its contents, to file 2. Let's see if the contents of file 2 are the same than the contents in file 1 by using the command type again. And something interesting about the auto completion feature right here, it is not able to suggest us something right here because there's a file 1 and there's a file 2 and it doesn't know what option to choose from. But if we want to see our options, we can just press the tab key twice and then it will display both of the options that are available. Let's use file 2.txt, and after typing 2 we can just use the auto completion feature again. Now it shows us that this is file content, the sentence that we just typed in earlier. So we just made sure that there's the same content in file 1.txt that there is in file 2.txt. If we want to make sure that two files have the same content, we can also do that with another command called compare or comp. So now we're gonna comp file 1.txt with file 2.txt. And it tells us that files compare okay. The reason that this command has been pretty important back in the days is that files were not always copying correctly, especially if you were to use different floppy disk drives. So let's do something different and say we want to merge file 1.txt and file 2.txt together to a new file, and we're gonna call that new file merged file.txt. So sorry for my messed up typing right here, but now you can see the result and what I wanted to show you. We are gonna tell copy that we want to add to copy file 1 and file 2.txt to a new file called merged file. So let's do that. And as you can see, it now copies both files to a new file called merged file. Let's do a little directory listing right here again. And now we can see that there's also a file called merged file. And there's some letters missing right there. Even though we see that our 223 bytes files add up to a new 46 byte files, I think the content has copied correctly, but I'm not really satisfied with this name. And the reason that our new file only has 8 letters is that our file system, which is a FAT16 file system, is not accepting file names with more than 8 characters for the file name and 3 characters for the file extension. So in DOS, you always have to use a file extension, or at least in the FAT16 file system. It wants you to always have a file extension, and also DOS needs a file extension to identify a file, which is not the case in Linux today, but it is still the case in Windows nowadays. You're still using file extensions. So with all that being said, let's go back to our original purpose, or to our original topic, which was to create this merged file. And I think since we are not able to really call it merged file, we want to rename that. But before we do that, let's just look into the merged file and see if it merged correctly. And as you can see, there's our file content from file 1 and there's our file content from file 2. They are just added up together. So that's fine. Now we just want to fix the name. And we're going to do that by using the command ren, an acronym for rename, I guess. Merged file.txt to file3.txt. Yes, well, I'm just going to name it file3. This is not the time to be creative. Let's do another directory listing and see if the file3 exists. And yes, our merged file has been gone and our file3 now exists. So let's go back to our fun directory, and we're just going to do that by using cd ... which always goes back into the directory underneath our current working directory. Now we're here in our fun directory. And instead of doing a directory listing right here, I would like to do something different. I want to see what's in folder 1 and I also want to see what's in folder 2, meaning I just want to see the directory structure. And I'm going to do this by using the command 3. So this now shows us the directory 3 starting from our current working directory. And as you can see, there's a folder 1 with a subdirectory and there's also a folder 2 with no subdirectories in it. So what we haven't done right here is we haven't copied the contents from one folder to another, and this is something that we can do by using the command xcopy. So let's copy all the contents from folder 1. Autocomplete shows us what's in folder 1 to the folder 2. And now we can see that it has copied 3 files, but what we don't see if it has copied our subdirectory of folder 1. But we can check that by using the 3 command again. And as you can see, we got our folder 1 with the subdirectory, but in our folder 2 there's still no subdirectory. So let's go into our folder 2 and see if this is real. Okay, so we can see that from our folder 1 we managed to copy all the files, but not the folders from folder 1 to folder 2. So I think I'm not really satisfied with that. And therefore I want to delete all the files that are in our folder 2 right here. We're going to do that by using the command del, an acronym for delete. And instead of using a single file name for touching the file, we can also use an asterisk. And since our current file system, or also our DOS system, always wants to have a file extension, we're also going to give it a file extension, and we again are using the asterisk for that. We could also say asterisk.txt, and it would also work since all the files in our current folder are txt files. So now it asks us again if we really want to do that. And yes, we want to do that. And as you can see, there are no more files within our folder 2. So let's go back to our original fun folder, and now let's do our folder structure copying correctly by using the command xcopy again. And now what I forgot earlier is to use some options with it. So the option S copies also all the subdirectories with their contents, and the option E even copies the empty subdirectories. And after that, we're gonna use folder 1 and folder 2 again. So this now finally should copy all contents of folder 1 to folder 2. Now again, it shows us that it copied the files, but we don't know if it also duplicated our subfolder, but now it did, because we were using those options. And what we didn't do until now is we haven't moved a file. So let's do that by using the command move. And what I want to get into my current folder, into my current working folder, is the file 1 that is located in folder 2. So I'm telling it to catch the file 1 in folder 2 and copy it to my current folder and name it move.txt. So you can also use this move command for renaming. As you can see, we didn't just move the file 1.txt, we also renamed it to the name moved.txt. We check that by doing a directory listing, and as you can see, there's a new file in our fun directory which is called moved. Okay, so I think we basically covered all the commands that I wanted to show you today. But before we do that, I want to show you a little summary. And this summary is in our D drive. And changing the drive is something that we haven't done for today. Doing this is possible by just using D colon. So we're just saying this is the name of the drive. Please get us to this drive. As you can see, now it changed our drive letter from C to D, and now we are in the root directory of our D drive. Let's do a directory listing, and there's a file called summary, which is the one that I wanted to show you in the old presentation way of DOS. I'm just gonna use type to print out this summary. This will show you again all the commands that we were using today, and even a little bit more. So with the dir command, we can list directory contents. With the tree command, we can display a folder structure or a whole folder structure. With the mkdir command, we can create a directory, and md is an alias for that. With cd, we can change our current working directory. With the command copy con file.txt, we can copy typed contents to a new file. By using type, we can display a file, as we are doing here right now. By using the command copy file1.txt to file2.txt, we duplicate a file. And by using the command comp, we compare files to each other. ren renames files. xcopy does compare two folders, does copy a whole folder structure, sorry about that. del deletes files, and erase is an alias for delete that I haven't showed you in this video, but you can also use erase instead of del. It does the same thing. And move does move files around. Here I showed you a little bit about using the asterisk symbol. In order to touch all the files that have the txt ending, you can just use asterisk.txt. If you want to delete all files that have the name Jim, no matter of what extension they have, you can use this syntax. And the last thing in the row, delete asterisk.asterisk, deletes all the files in the current working directory. So I hope I was able to give you a little introduction into this basic DOS commands, and I hope it was a little entertaining. So I would like to shut down my machine, and I'm gonna say thank you for watching and God bless you.